Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin, and I am bringing you this wonderful fan-based podcast, band endorsed. Well, I hope you think it's a wonderful podcast anyway. As far as I know, the only band endorsed podcast, at least that I'm aware of. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, it's really cool. Love the band. That's why I'm doing the show. A couple hundred episodes coming at you, one at a time, doing 4 shows a week, and enjoying every bit of it. Today, I have a wonderful song, one that I've loved for years. This song is called Blind Eye off the album The Magician's Birthday. And, you know, it's interesting. This is always one that I kind of pictured just, some people hanging out on a log, just playing acoustic guitars, telling stories, which is really ironically more the story of tales. But, you know, it just has that kind of, campfire feel to it where you could just be sitting there strumming on a guitar. Of course, the bass line drives it as well. And the drums are really interesting, too, a little bit different of a pattern that you're used to hearing. But a great song overall. Nothing really much in the news front today, so I'm just going to jump right into this song. Here it is, Blind Eye. Okay, there's already a lot to unpack right off the beginning. So we've got really nicely strummed acoustic guitars. You've got that really blended in with the bass. Now, the bass is very active, but it's not moving up and down a lot. It's really just following the rhythm and melody here. It's kind of interesting to hear that so laid back. I mean, it's got a good groove to it, but it's not all up and down the scale. And then, just a really nice drum beat with some great positioning on the kick drums, and then a fantastic fill to go into the next part. Already off to a great start. That cool little extra crash cymbal that you heard in there, that will be repeated throughout the song. It's really a nice touch. It gives it something to kind of keep it apart from other songs, just throwing something different in there. But I love the riff. It's really nice to hear 2 different guitars playing it, one in each ear, and really just gives another level of depth. It's well played, but it's a cool riff.
Stranger than the sunrise, darker than the night, fiercer than a rainstorm. This is man's delight. This is man's delight.
Can we just talk about that guitar progression right there? I love the way that plays out. It's hits on several different notes, but it just has a really great groove to it. Very evenly strummed. It just feels good. I love where it moves, where it goes. Love it, love it, love it.
Weaker than a moment and hot as any fire, blinder than the blind eye. This is man's desire. This is man's desire.
I don't know if you caught it, but there was a subtle but beautiful vocal harmony on the phrase blinder than the blind eye. And I'm going to play it for you here again because I think it's worth noting, but it's really high, but it's subtle. It's blended in so well that it's not perceptible maybe on the first hearing of it until you're really paying attention to it. But I really think it's great and worth hearing again. You can hear it a little bit more in the right ear, but I just love it. It blends so beautifully. It's not pronounced. Like a lot of their backing vocals are a little more dominant in the mix. This is a little more subtle, but it just blends well. It's a great harmony, and definitely, these are musicians who clearly know how to write that kind of music.
I ran to a place in the open sea where I pledged my life to the sun. It was good for a while, I could laugh, I could smile, but when I woke up one day, the sun had gone.
I love the transition into this section. It's kind of like, it's a little more pronounced. You feel like they're strumming harder, but they're keeping the same pacing, which is great. And then, obviously we haven't talked about the vocals, but they're very much on par here for what you would want in a song like this. I like the change in the drums, although I think, and this is just my opinion, well, all of it's really just my opinion, but I think that what's happening is a little bit of an audio illusion here. So you've got the toms being played, but they're somewhat buried in parts of the mix here. And I think it's our brain kind of filling in what we know they're doing versus actually hearing 100% what they're doing when they're a little more buried by the other instruments. Again, just my opinion, but I think that's what's going on. Either way, though, I mean, he's playing it, and we are hearing what he's playing. It's just our mind kind of filling in the gaps. So really cool lick. It was a very smooth transition in and out of this section, which I like. And, let's hear what happens next.
Had gone.
So I noticed through this part, we do get a little more of that wandering bass guitar that we're so used to. But I still, I love the thickness of that double guitar recording. And I like what Lee's playing. Now, it's very much his style, from as familiar as I am with him, to hit cymbals on the snare as well. It's not something a lot of drummers do. Most of them hit on the kick or at the end of a fill where there's a kick, but it's very common for him to hit on the snare, I've noticed. Really cool. It certainly is something that is signature for him. But I love the sound of the drums too. I think the toms sound great. I think that the snare sounds great. The cymbals are a little quiet comparatively, and the bass drum's a little quiet comparatively. But for the most part, the tonality and the depth of the drums sound really good. Another great recording. But as I recall, this song was the song that made me want to pick up acoustic guitar. And I never did, because I really am not a very good guitar player. I can play some of the stuff that I write, but I usually just play some live stuff to, fill in a little bit. I don't really play guitar at all. I'm a little bit of a bass player. But guitar and I just never got along, which is a shame, because I would love to write a song like this, something that's got that just really driving acoustic guitar strumming playing to keep it going. And then I love the way that the electric sounds over top of the acoustic in this song. Just a really great blend.
I ran to a place in the open sea where I pledged my whole life to the sun. It was good for a while, I could laugh, I could smile, but when I woke up one day, the sun had gone. So what of my meaning? What am I trying to say? What of my caution? I'm a man. Anyway, I'm a man. Anyway, I'm a man. Anyway, I'm a man.
I like how in a song like this, the vocals actually get stronger. It's not quite one of those comeback type parts that I was talking about, but it definitely has more conviction as the song goes along. And I think that's a great delivery. I like that little manual delay that he was doing. I'm pretty sure that's not a studio effect. But yeah, very cool. Nice transition again into this part. And we're going to hear the electric guitar come back in over top and play out the song. But really cool, man. Just a great groove to this song. I love it. It is a little bit buried in the mix, but the vocals do carry on all the way into the fade. Just sort of gently repeating that phrase. Love it though. Love the guitar. Love that the pace stayed the same, even in the changes. It kept a very solid pace and just had a great feel to the music. Good vocal delivery, of course, and that's what we've come to expect from these guys. And just a really nice, simple song that has a real good feel to it. And it's always been one of my favorites. I hope that you guys enjoyed it too. And that will wrap up this episode. Another short one, but that's what happens when you have short songs. You get shorter episodes. But we will be back for another episode and another song from the Magician's birthday album, which I can't wait to get to. I believe what Tales is next. Not Tales, Echoes in the Dark is next. Boy, you'd think I'd know this band. We'll see you guys. Stay safe. Have a wonderful day. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days!